Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Prep Life Podcast. This is your founder and CEO of Glam Girl Bikini, Amy Enger. And today I'm joined by special guest, IFBB Bikini professional, Marissa. And it's Wilmot, or no?
Yes, Wilmot. Yep,
Okay.
you pronounced it
Because
right.
sometimes it's Wells, and I'm like, I never can keep up. So,
Yeah, I know. And everyone likes to pronounce it Walmart, and I'm like, it's Will. I'm like, guys, Wilmot. So yeah, you got it right.
okay, good. So we wanted to recap your season. You had a run of three shows, correct? This
Correct.
past
Yeah.
year, yeah, in
Yeah.
2025. We want to get into some topics, just all angles of bikini, where the professional league's kind of going, and then just kind of where this fit model is coming into play and how that's looking for us as like coaches and you as our head posing coach at Glam Girl and kind of getting your perspective. So let's start with kind of like your journey. So I know you and Cash started last year. Neil Cash, what day or what show was your
Uh,
debut with him?
for this year.
Uh, you started working with him last year though, right?
Yeah, I started working with him in 2024 or the end of 2023, actually, but we didn't start competing together until 2024.
Okay.
Our first show was actually supposed to be the Miami Pro, and then I never made it to Miami because my flight got delayed and delayed
Oh,
and delayed. And so we were stuck in the AZ airport for like 48 hours until I just couldn't make it anymore. So we
oh wow.
started off at the
Stressful.
Indianapolis Pro, yeah, together. Ended up
Okay.
seventh place there for our first
Okay.
show. And then after that, we went to Tahoe. And then after that, we went to Texas. And then my feedback all year from 2024 was just to continue to grow my glutes, especially. And then so we took 6 months off. We came back. We were supposed to do the Indiana Pro for our first one in 2025 because I just loved that show. Like it is ran so incredibly well. I love Jamie so much. She's so sweet. She's one of the like best promoters I've been around. So I knew I wanted to do that show again. So if you guys ever get a chance to go to Indianapolis and do her show, I highly suggest it. She's amazing. Um, but he had other plans and he texted me, I think like 3 weeks out from the DC Pro and was like, hey, I really want to get you in front of Bill to have him judge you because he's going to be at the Indiana Pro. And I had 7 pounds to drop in like 3 weeks, but we made it work. My
Wow.
feedback, yeah, I got seventh place there. And the feedback there was just, hey, like, I had a few issues as far as my front pose goes. They wanted me to open up a little bit more. So this is the thing, like posing can make or break you. So that was my biggest feedback was like, hey, we know that you have the muscle density, we know that you have the body, but you're not presenting it like you should on stage. So I had to tweak my front pose a little bit, some tweaking some of that. He said everything looks great. Came to Indiana, kind of the same thing uh, was, hey, we still want you to represent your body a little bit better. We came in a little bit leaner to get more pop. And then we came into, what was the last show I just did? Oh, yeah, the Republic of Texas came in sixth place out of 45. And my feedback
Incredible.
was, yeah. And my feedback was, Marissa, you did everything we've asked for. Everything looks perfect, but we need you to take an off season and you need to grow a little bit more. So
Okay.
and and at first me and Cash were like, really out of 45, 6, you want me to take an off season? He did say though, Bill did say, hey, if you do come back and do another show, like bring this exact package. It was perfect. And maybe a
Oh,
smaller lineup, you would do better. But
okay.
I was like, yeah. And so I kind of decided like I don't want to just continue to chase a fifth place and a fourth place and a third place. And me and Cash were actually having some issues keeping my body weight up. And so just by seeing my weight keep dropping and dropping and dropping, he's like, your body needs a little bit of a rest. So
Okay.
decided we're gonna take another 6 months off and then come back early in May or April. May.
That's awesome. So feedback wise, you're you're basically bringing that package just a little bit more density kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah. They just said grow your legs, grow a little bit of more of your upper glute. Which the feedback from DC and Indy was like, I mean, I feel like everybody's feedback, especially in bikini, is going to be grow a little bit more upper outer glute. You know, I feel like that's the feedback. But looking, once we went back and looked at the NPC News Online photos, looking at all of the top five girls, they got some big old legs on them. So that's,
Mhm.
and me, my legs get really, they get small, but my glutes are there. So I was like all glutes and legs.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So we're going to be training like you know, all,
Well,
all angles of my legs now.
really. Okay. And previously you were kind of eliminating the
Yeah.
anterior chain, like more
Yeah.
posterior focus. So now you're
Yep.
going to mix it.
All posterior, all glutes, 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 a little bit of hamstrings, but now it's going to be all of it. Which before, in bikini, I felt like legs weren't really it wasn't as dominant and it was all
Right.
about glutes. And
Yeah.
so we did that. And now they're telling me, okay, you have the go ahead to start growing your legs too, which I'm excited about because I like to train that way. So it'll be really fun.
Good. Good. I'm excited about that. Do you have anything, I mean, I'll share, and I've kind of shared on social media. Like I had Cash as my coach for a little bit there. I really loved him. He is so great.
Yeah.
It's amazing how he builds up your calories, and it's like you drop weight. Or I told him he was a magician because he's like
Yeah.
so great. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
is that kind of like what your body was doing when he was feeding you up and like you were dropping weight and all of that?
Yeah, and I can be honest, like I've never have ever in my life or my I guess career competing career, I've ever ate as much as I have with him. And it's
Yeah.
just weird. I think too, I think a lot of it has to do, if I'm being honest, a lot of it has to do with just following his protocols to a T too. As I'm
Mhm.
sure a lot of people know, he's just a straight shooter. Um, I don't ever want to get yelled at by him. I think having a little bit of fear, your coach fear, like you're a little bit scared of your coach,
Yes.
does help you stay on plan a little bit better. So that probably has a lot to do with it. I'm
The adherence.
following
Yeah.
the adherence and the consistency really does help build up those calories. Um, so it's not that I think that he's doing anything crazy or way different than other coaches. I think that he just has that adherence. He's able to pull that out of you as an
Mhm.
athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. And he just, full transparency, I was so sad to leave him. We kind of just like talked and he's just not, he doesn't want to coach fit model. And I really just had it in my heart to coach or to do fit model. So I was
Yeah,
like, well, if
yeah.
I ever change my mind, I'm like, I want to come back because he's so great.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
maybe he might change his mind too. Once I think Fit Model maybe evolves a little bit, maybe he'll be like, okay, I'll test the waters and just see what it's all about. So you never know.
yeah.
He might take on a couple of Fit Model clients in the near future.
Yeah, he said he only has ever had one and he turned her pro, but he was like, I'm just not passionate about it. So I really have a lot of respect for him to like,
Yeah.
kind of talk about that and recommend somebody else that, like would help me with that goal. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So do we want to talk about anything else that you wanted to cover in terms of like where the professional bikini is kind of going, like where that category is going, kind of trends that you're seeing in the industry before we transition into the fit model topic?
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of like I just talked about, I think it's evolving. I think the muscle density in the lower body is growing as well. We're seeing these girls come out with, quads and hamstrings and abductors, adductors. And it's not just glutes. And so that's what I've noticed. I'm sure it's going to continue to evolve as well as Fit Model. I feel like Fit Models evolved so fast already, and Bikini is going to have to kind of evolve too to keep it into their own category.
Hmm. Yeah.
But like I said, this year, probably last year a little bit too, but more apparent to me maybe this year that the lower extremity is getting a lot bigger than what it was.
Yeah, if you go to Amy Delgado's page, just for reference, anyone that wants to kind of see, like when she won the overall at USA's, her body was so much different than it is now. I think
Hmm.
it was like her last picture was from when she won the Pittsburgh uh, Power Fit. Like night and day. It's crazy how much bigger her muscle is. So, and that was, I
Yeah.
think,
Hmm.
2020. So that was 5 years ago, maybe when
Yeah.
she turned pro.
Yeah, when she turned pro, she was probably more fit model now. Oh, probably
Hmm.
a little bit too probably on the leaner side for fit model when she won her
Yeah.
pro card. So yeah, that's like I said, fit model is kind of going to be the brand new bikini almost is what I'm kind of seeing how they're turning these pros.
Can you speak on the conditioning level in terms of like what you had to do to get, because you were really, I mean, your conditioning was on point. Was there
Mm,
anything special that you had to do, like that you felt like this year was different than last year, or like over
hmm.
time, have you noticed a trend in getting like as lean as you're getting um,
Yeah.
to
I think
achieve
a
the
lot of
hardness?
it Yeah, I think a lot of it was I didn't feel we had to push very hard this year to get my body to get lean. But I think what helped was my off season. I didn't put on as much weight. Like when I came to Cash,
Okay.
I think I was almost 30 plus pounds over my stage weight. And this year we kept it at like 15. So I
Oh,
didn't have
nice.
to,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't have to push as hard. This time, I think my cardio maybe got up to an hour. And that was just because we were trying to push to get to DC. Like if we didn't have DC on our radar that close, I probably would have just cruised right into Indy.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think keeping my body weight low in my off season, which again, this is going to be person to person. I think that for me to build what I did before I saw Cash, I needed to put that weight on. This time it was just fine tuning and hey, you just need to grow a little bit here, keep everything else good. So we kept my weight down. Kind of the same thing going into this off season too. We're really going to only try to put on 10 to 15 pounds. That way I can come back a little bit earlier.
And
So
for
I think
reference,
just,
how tall are you? Because I know that
yeah.
that makes a
Mm-hmm.
difference too.
Yeah. So I'm 5'5". I actually step on stage anywhere between 125 to 128.
Okay. What do you feel like it has been your best package with that?
Mm, I loved Indianapolis. I loved Indy's look. I did. I was leaner than DC, but I was fuller, a little bit like, but fuller than Texas. Texas, I did come in a lot leaner, but that was more so because we had to. I was losing weight. I woke up actually. I went to bed at like 129, I believe, and woke up the next morning on Friday at 123. And
Oh my gosh,
so,
you lost six
yeah,
pounds in one day.
my
Talk
nighttime
about
weight was
inflammation
129. Yeah.
difference.
Well, my nighttime weight was 129. So after I had ate all my food and everything like that, and then woke up at
Okay.
123, and then I think I almost got up to like 400 carbs on Friday before my show, and then
Wow.
woke up on Saturday morning at 124. So we just really had to push the food, and that you can kind of tell in some of my videos and my pictures that my gut was a little bit extended. It was a little bit harder for me to keep tight in
Yeah.
Texas. So I really, really liked my indie look a lot, and I think Cash agrees as well.
Nice. Okay, so getting into fit model, I just want to kind of I pulled up some stats just in terms of how many pro cards we have out there right now. There's 49 fit model pros, and 10 of those came out of international ones where it was just like one competitor. So far, there were three that came out of Pittsburgh Power Pro, four out of Junior USA's, four out of Junior Nats, 10 out of Universe, 10 out of Masters Nationals, and then eight out of USA's just this past weekend. So, all of those categories, different ones. I was surprised that Junior USA has produced four pro cards just because there's only four high classes in fit model. And usually it just goes to the overall, but they must have, I mean, they even had one class that had three people in it, which was A. So that was surprising.
Mm.
Something that I saw, so like with Universe and Masters Nationals, obviously with the Universe, you have like the top two have a pro card, plus you have the Masters. There were some people that like had multiple pro cards, so it actually pulled down the number. It would have been higher if some people. One girl I think got three pro cards in Fit Model. So I just thought that was like an interesting piece. But something that happened to me at Masters Nationals 2 weeks ago, I was signed up for the 45D, and that one was supposed to have a pro card winner, and there were only two people signed up, and you have to have five. That was something new I had learned. I did not know that if you don't have enough people in your class, which that's what was surprising when I saw the three in USA's, but I guess they did it to the overall. Um, but anyway, yeah, they ended up dropping my 45D class and not giving out a pro card in that one because people weren't signed up. And so then they put me in C. They didn't tell me that. So I was waiting in line backstage for
Mm.
D to line up. So I had to sprint to the stage,
No.
but that was a little crazy. Um,
Oh.
so coming up, we've got the so with North Americans coming up as the next pro qualifier. That one has just the overall in 45. So it has less pro cards than Masters Nationals for the Masters competitors. It has the top two overall in 35 and 40. And then it's got four in the open. And pretty much, other than Nationals, which will have the top two in open, that'll have eight. That's about, it's going to kind of taper off. Like Ben Weider, I think I'll have maybe three pro cards that they give out. Am I missing any other national shows that are coming up with pro cards
Mm,
for Fit models?
probably. Did you mention the Amateur Olympia? It's not
Oh,
a
okay,
nationals,
yeah,
but they do award, I think to the overall they award pro
yeah,
cards.
because like the Arnold didn't have it, but yeah, usually like in bikini, anyways, I've seen them give it to the top three overall, and they usually have A through H. But I'm assuming it might be something similar to Junior USA's where they give out four pro cards, even though there's only four
Yeah.
classes. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's not very many pros. So, what are your thoughts
Hmm.
on just how many people in the IFBB that are bikini right now do you
Mm.
think for next year when they start having fit model pro shows? Because we'll probably
Mm.
have like from these numbers, I would imagine less than 100 pros that have turned pro this year that from amateur to pro is what I'm guessing. Considering there were only 10 internationally, there might be some more international ones that pro qualifiers that pick up a few more. But what are your
Yeah.
thoughts there? Do you know of anybody that is that like anything
Mm.
that you've heard of that?
I mean, yeah, I think Shauna is going to be one of them. I know that
Okay.
she's going to drop down. I've seen her posting on Instagram. I think I've seen a couple of girls teasing like, "Oh, I wonder what, they're posing like fit model just to see what their body looks like." I think that we
Yeah.
might see a couple yeah, I think we might see maybe a couple of retired IFBB pros come back for fit model, some OGs.
Have you
And
heard
then
Janet? Is that a
I
rumor? Is that
so that's another
she would
one that
be
I've
great.
been, yeah, that's another one that I've been seeing teasing on social media that, hey, possibly. So I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of chatter on social media, a lot of like teasing as far as posing and going, but I have not heard like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it'll be really interesting to see who does drop down and how it goes because I think it it might push out a lot of these newer fit model pros if we have some IFBB bikini pros dropping down.
Hmm.
We'll we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So just some of my friends that have competed in some of these pro qualifiers earlier this year, they and two of them that I'm thinking off the top of my head are all full time like natural athletes where they've been competing in bikini and they're gonna drop down to fit model halfway through the season. And I think a lot of people are kind of making that switch halfway through the season where they've tried bikini, they've gotten on stage and they realize like, it's just it's gotten to be way more muscular and I mean, that was always
Mm-hmm.
my feedback. Like my last show last year, it was like it's always like get bigger, like you need more
Mm-hmm.
size.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm finding
Mm-hmm.
that even just like mid-season, a lot of people are kind of jumping ship. So I'll be curious as to what the numbers do. Now you had a client that did the opposite, right? So she tried Fit
Yeah.
Model and then switched back over. What was your
Yeah.
conversation like there?
I just think that she likes the look of bikini a little bit more. Again, it's going to come with the like the muscle density and stuff like that. It's just like bikini talking about going to wellness. It's like, it depends on the muscle density that you want, and not just in your on season, but your off season too.
Yeah.
Does have the muscle bellies, especially in her lower body, to be bikini. So, and she likes the posing a little bit better. It comes down to the suit selection too. I know that's a big issue.
Yes, a lot of
So
people have that one.
yeah, and I can tell you, being a posing coach for both, both bikini and fit model. Fit model is a little bit trickier, to be honest. And I don't know if that's just because I've been doing bikini for so long. Fit model posing, even when I do it on myself to send out videos of what it needs to look like, I'm like, man, this is a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, see,
Um,
that was what I started with. So I actually feel way more comfortable in the stallion pose, but
mhm,
it's because
mhm.
that's where I started in bikini
Yeah,
in
exactly. So yeah,
2012.
yeah. Yeah. So I think she feels more comfortable in the bikini poses. Her body just, she just wants
Lends
to grow
itself.
into the sport. And that's probably with the younger girls that start in fit model, that's kind of my understanding as to why fit model was born, was
Hmm.
to have it be a stepping stone to possibly be go into bikini later on.
Yeah, I actually just signed up three new competitors that I'm getting them ready for a fit model competition in November here in Kansas City. And then they're all natural athletes. So they're all going to do the natural show in May as bikini because they like the look, they like the suits, they like the posing. They want to like eventually get to that body, but they've never competed. So I'm gonna put them in fit model and like we're gonna go there for a non-drug tested event. And so I've had
Mm-hmm,
a couple people that have kind of like retired from bikini that I used to coach that kind of got that feedback like they just didn't have like the genetics for that muscle density that have come back and there's a lot of shows that are set up where the drug tested show is the day before or the day after.
mm-hmm,
Like it's like a Friday,
mm-hmm,
Saturday, like non-drug tested Saturday or a Saturday, Sunday, where that's what one of the things that Sandy was suggesting is, go to one of those shows, get ready for it, do the non-drug tested fit model, and then try the drug tested bikini, see where you land there.
mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on any of that stuff? Like with,
Mm. I think
um,
fit model should be no drugs, period.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
no matter if it's tested or not, that there's no way that that category should ever have any enhanced athletes, to be honest, because it's very, it's so supposed to be so sustainable for everybody. That's why it was born,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a great plan. I mean, it's like brand new competitors have never stepped on stage, don't really have that density or don't have the genetics maybe to grow into bikini. I think that this category is amazing. Or, girls that have been doing bikini, trying to turn pro in bikini, and they, either A, don't want to take enhancements to continue to grow into bikini, or they maybe don't have the genetics to grow into bikini naturally.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think too, it creates a price tag, right? And so when we think about finances, a bikini
Mm,
suit with all that crystallization, I mean, it's anywhere between 600 like not very much
to a
crystallization
thousand.
to 1,000.
Yeah.
Um, I will
Or more.
say
I've got
wearing,
quoted like 2,500 before.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and then a fit model is like 150 or, $100. So it's very much more affordable. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously those PEDs have a price tag. So,
Mm-hmm.
being able to have that, lower barrier of entry, it's like you are able to not have to spend as much money um,
Yeah. I
on the
think
hobby.
that, yeah, I think that also has brought in a lot of people too, that it's not as expensive
Yeah. Yeah. And I
to
actually,
continue.
wearing both bikinis, having done that, like, it is night and day how comfortable the fit
Oh,
model suit
really?
is on show
Hmm.
day. I used to get, neck pain. I think just because of
It's so
um,
heavy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just also like the connectors
Oh, yeah.
cutting
Hmm.
in and I don't know, even the crystals on the butt, like when you're sitting down, you can't really get comfortable because you're leaning, like your tailbone's sticking out. I don't
Hmm.
know. The Fit Model one was just like very easy and very comfortable.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that
so
the suits are going to evolve though?
I imagine they will because I
Hmm.
mean, I look at my suits from back in 2012 and they were a diaper butt, just like Fit Model, tons of coverage, uh, zero bling, and barely even had connectors. And
Hmm.
most of the stuff was just like, I remember I had my first bikini, it was raspberry, um, and it had like a piping that was zebra. And it's
Hmm.
like so weird to even look back at those, but you had to get your pizzazz by your hologram like shatter. And
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hmm.
think they're gonna probably, but I'm glad that they're not because again, like it gives a requirement that you can't really spend that much money on the suit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think it's maybe would change is if maybe Fit Model doesn't grow as big as they're hoping, and that's one of the biggest complaints is the suits, and that's what I get too
yeah,
from girls is I don't really
yeah,
like the suits, you
yeah,
know. So
yeah.
I could
And
see
that
it
much
evolving a little
coverage.
bit. Hmm.
Yeah, it can be kind of like you feel like you're wearing a diaper.
Yeah,
But
and it's tricky to keep the coverage down too. Like one of my Fit Model girls were having issues with every time she would pose, her glutes would
yes,
just
it
kind
kind of
of
like sucks in.
suck in, and you're like, and then you're
Hmm.
trying to
The bikini bite.
bikini bite it, and it just if it moves, it takes your tan off, and so
Hmm.
maybe having the bottoms just maybe like a Brazilian cut, maybe not quite the micro or anything like that, like bikini, but
Yeah.
maybe just a little bit in. That way, we don't have that issue, especially if Fit Model evolves and you do start seeing some bigger glutes or something like that.
So one thing Savannah did for me, um, because she's our suit sponsor at Angel Competition Bikinis, she tacked the top to kind of like make it pucker a little bit, and that kind of gave it a little bit better shape rather than just it being so horizontal at the top.
Oh,
So they kind of
good.
like redid both of my bottoms to kind of like put like a little, I mean, I can't say anything other than a tuck, but like it's almost like they like scrunched up the top part just to make it like more appealing so it wasn't so straight across. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay,
it
and that helped.
definitely for that category, I never had to use Bikini Bite really with my bikinis because there just wasn't much to try to tack on there. But with the fit model, you definitely, if you're doing your own tan and stuff, you need to make sure you bring some Bikini Bite because that fabric really needs to be tacked down because it will
Hmm.
move. I saw one girl, she had gotten so lean that it was almost like puffing off her skin. If
Mm,
you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see my hands, but it was like it was kind of like off her skin, the fabric, because she had
yeah.
gotten so lean that it wasn't like sitting on her skin, if that makes sense. I can't even describe it, but I mean, she definitely should
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
having Bikini Bite, but it's definitely something to bring. Some other things that I learned at Masters Nationals, just talking to Sandy about my own feedback and things like that. Um, First of all, I don't know if you want me to share what my feedback was,
Yeah, absolutely.
but she was like, I had you in the middle in your front. Um, so she just was like, your hips were too wide. You need to be leaner, which I knew that going into it. Like my glutes are the last place to lose body fat.
Hmm.
But she also said, and she was very specific about her words with this, but I kind of got what she was saying because she said you also have to have like an eye-catching look, like your face basically is what she's getting
Hmm.
at is that she's like it's a model and she said I need to be able to see like basically like beauty. So
Yeah.
you're definitely getting scored on your aesthetics like for your glam. So make sure, if you are doing fit model, your hair, your makeup is really on point because she said that that's one
Mm,
thing they really look for is like that model look. So
mm,
she's like, you need to have an eye-catching look. And she wasn't talking
mm,
about physique. Like it was very specifically, she was talking about like someone's face kind of thing. So
mm.
that would be something to kind of pay attention to. Other things that I kind of learned.
I I can
Yeah, go
kind of
ahead.
see that with the girls that are getting awarded their pro cards because I have a lot of my girls. Oh, this girl just won her pro card, and one of my fit model girls. And every time I look at them, I'm like, man, these girls are beautiful. You
Yeah,
know, their
yeah.
hair is like big, like their hair is really
Hmm.
beautiful. Their makeup, everything, just like what you said. Every time I see a new pro, I'm like, wow, these girls are beautiful. So I can see, and I know Cash at the beginning before we had any fit model shows, he said that exact thing was this is going to be a beauty pageant contest, you
Yeah,
know? So,
yeah. But I mean, their physiques are there. I mean, I was very impressed. Everybody looked amazing at Masters Nationals anyway that I saw. Like,
yeah,
there wasn't
yeah,
one person that was just out of shape. Everybody looked great. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, the glute size is definitely a lot smaller. I will say that. The people that won the overalls, backstage it's almost like they didn't even have a butt, which
yeah,
on stage
yeah.
they look like they do, but the density is not there. So I really feel confident about what they're doing with the division in terms of it looking
Good,
a lot different than bikini, especially in the glutes. So that's
good,
very
good,
encouraging, I think.
good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I, I
And I
noticed
mean, they're
too.
kind of
Oh, yeah.
tie-ins, but not really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I was watching the Chattanooga one for Fit Model because I had a girl in there, and some of the girls that came out, I was like, man, these for Fit Model, I'm like, man, these, I was like, holy smokes, these girls got some muscle, but they didn't place them, which I was like really happy about. I'm like, awesome. They
Yes.
are doing a good job at pushing the girls that have a little bit more muscle that probably could grow more into bikini if they just had an off season and keeping the smaller girls. So I was really happy to see that.
Yeah, and I know like a friend of mine, Bill, was like giving her feedback that you know, like swim, don't work on your upper body or whatever, kind of tone down just because, you don't want to be too
Mm-hmm.
big or too capped out with your
Good,
shoulders or um
good.
yeah. So I think it's gonna be exciting for the rest of the year. Are there any tips or anything that you have that you wanted to share about trends that you've seen just in general for 2025 with posing, since you are a head posing coach, or any tips that you have for our listeners before we kind of sign off?
As far as like bikini goes and stuff
Yeah,
or
just
fit
anything
model,
in general.
I think bikini has always been, I love to see, especially as a posing coach, bringing your own personality into your posing. I see a lot of girls that I pose, they try to copy other girls' posing, and it doesn't end
Yeah.
up that great. Like I have a lot of girls that will save my poses and then I'll pose with them and it's like my routine. And I'm like, whoa, that's not
Okay.
what we practice. So I love like Sky is one that is awesome at this. She does this turnaround with her hand. Have you noticed that where she kind of comes up
Yes.
and brushes her hand? She started doing that in one of our posing, and like, look, I get goosebumps. Sorry guys that you guys
Oh,
can't see it, but I get goosebumps every time I see her do it, even talking about it, because it's her signature move, you
she
know?
has a lot of sass and personality. And shout out to my
Yeah,
client Sky. She just got
yeah.
engaged. Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations. I did see that. Her
Yeah.
ring is beautiful. But yeah, so she's one of them that really puts a lot of her own spunk and personality into the
Yes.
posing. And I love to see that. I love, love, love to see that. So same thing in Fit Model. I always tell them like turn on some music and just flow, record yourself, go back and and be like, oh, I actually really like that move. I'll do the same thing with my posing. I'll just try things, and then just kind of let it flow. And then I'm like, oh, hey, I kind of like that. So just putting your own personality, your own spunk into it, because, some girls are going to be more very like bouncy and like how they walk and present. Other girls are going to be a little bit slower, a little bit more sultry, which is kind of my personality a little bit. So finding your own groove and personality into your posing, and then hiring a posing coach to kind of bring that out for you as well.
I love that. Yeah. I've always heard, I think it was Kim Celia that said this. She she said you need to have your personality just like a little bit bigger. So
Hmm.
it's like the same thing on stage, like with your makeup and everything. It's like it should kind of look like your face, but like like a little bit more dramatic, like
Yes.
your skin's more dramatic, everything's your hair is a little bit bigger, but so
Yeah,
you don't want to go outside of like who you are. Otherwise, I think
exactly.
definitely, like you said, to your point, is like the judges will catch
Hmm.
that right away. They're gonna know because it's gonna come off and present as inauthentic. So
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
really great tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you so much coming on today. If I know everybody's going to want to share some love with you and tell you how much they appreciated you coming on. So, can you share your Instagram handle with everyone and they can tag you in the
Uh,
story? And
yep. So it's just Marissa Renee, which Renee is my middle name. So Marissa Renee underscore IFBB Pro.
yeah, and I'll have that in the show notes. And if you would like to sign up for Posing with Marissa, you can actually buy individual package or sessions with her on our website at glamgirlbikini.com. Don't have to be a glam girl. She has her own company too, which shout out to that. It's
Yeah. Empower Athletics
Empower
on
Athletics. Yeah,
Instagram.
I didn't want to misquote it. Um, yeah, so if you would like to, tag us on your story as well, we'd love to hear what you thought about it. You can find us at Prep Life Podcast or at Glam Girl Bikini. And if you'd like to sign up with coaching with me, you can go to glamgirlbikini.com and hit the get started button. Thanks for listening, guys.